Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. It is my pleasure to get together with you this morning. As always, here we connect the dots by taking a look at headlines from our city, our state, and our country. And we connect the dots by taking a look at your questions, your ideas, and your suggestions on how to best connect with Puerto Vallarta as a city where we live in, as a community of English-speaking locals. I'm going to cut to the chase with this delay business because I'm noticing that there's a delay, even though I started and restarted everything right before the broadcast. Just to keep you up to speed, I've been in touch with the developer of Ecamm Live, which is the software company that makes the application that I use to create these broadcasts. And they're working on it. They claim that I've sent them video samples and I've sent them tests and I've sent them diagnosis reports and this, that, and the other. And I am hoping that they will provide me with some clarity in the near future. Those of you who have attended our members only broadcasts know that I use a different program for those because it allows for easier interviews. So tomorrow we are going to be trying that application. I also have considered that it is possible that my 2017 Apple computer has reached or is reaching its end of usability for these kinds of applications. So we may have to look at raising money for another computer, but that seems too daunting to me. In the meantime, I appreciate your patience with the fact that we've been experiencing these unfortunate out of sync situations between voice and video. I also want to let you know that I'm extremely grateful to a few of you who have chosen to gift me extra coffees for my birthday, which is coming up in a week. All I can say is thank you. Thank you for your kind gifts. They are very much appreciated. Anyhow, today we have all kinds of interesting news, as always. And today, at the end of the broadcast, I'm going to share a video that I recorded yesterday in which I unboxed a home COVID test and I applied it on myself. The good news is I came back negative. I'm not contagious anymore, but I figured I would do a video of it because I know that some people express curiosity as to how the home COVID tests work. So that's what we're going to do today. Again, I apologize for the fact that there is a discrepancy between image and audio, and I hope that this will correct itself, or maybe not. I'll keep my fingers crossed. As always, you are more than welcome to let us know that you are new to the broadcast, and you can do that by writing the word new in your comment, and we'll be so very happy to give you a nice little welcome. And if you have any specific issue or comment that you want to bring up, then it is helpful if you add a capital letter Q at the beginning of your comment. And we will take a look at all your comments and good mornings and all that good stuff in the second half of the broadcast as usual. So I'm going to push the button and get things started around here, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so now that former union leader Gilberto Lorenzo was ousted for collecting a salary from the city after retiring, similar accusations are coming out in the open about other city employees that may be collecting more money than they should. And I say maybe because, again, this is what I'm reading on the paper. Now the spotlight has turned to Municipal Tourism Director Ludwig Estrada, who apparently collects a salary from the city and a pension from the state. The accusation came from City Council Carla Esparza, who went as far as to demand that the tourism director be removed from his position and that he return the monies he's been allegedly overpaid. Our mayor's response was, "We'll look into it," which is tricky given the fact that Estrada was handpicked by the mayor to join his administration and is one of his most trusted collaborators. Along the same lines, excuse me. Oh, actually, hold on just a second. Sorry about that. Despite the principles of Morena, the ruling party of no lying, no stealing, no betraying, zero nepotism, and zero corruption, there are still instances of nepotism in place at City Hall. City Council Maria Elena Curiel Preciado was questioned about a number of her relatives presently under payroll at City Hall, as in she has 3 of her children in payroll, a daughter-in-law, and her spouse. They all have jobs in the city because apparently they worked during the campaign. And when she's questioned about it, she acknowledges that it is indeed nepotism, but is quick to clarify that they worked during the campaign. So the phrase "they worked during the campaign" seems to have magical powers. I recommend that you remember that phrase should you get in trouble with the law anytime in the near future. I went over a speed bump. Oh, but, I worked during the campaign. I got caught smoking marijuana in a public place. Well, yeah, but I worked during the campaign. I'm going to try that next time I get myself into trouble just to see how it works out for me. Moving right along, State Secretary of Transport Diego Monraz has acknowledged that it has been challenging for the government to keep people using face masks while on board public transportation units, and at the same time, face mask use in the outdoors is no longer mandatory. According to the State Secretary of Transport, 1,523 public bus drivers have been sanctioned, along with 2,212 passengers throughout the state for not following the mandate. Of course, our personal choice continues to be the same. If you hop on a city bus or you're about to hop on a city bus and you find yourself troubled by the fact that people are not following the guideline, we have the choice of getting all bent out of shape, or we have the choice of not getting on the bus. Food for thought. Now, this may seem hard to believe for some, but there is such a thing in this day and age that there are colonias or neighborhoods in Puerto Vallarta that don't even have electricity. So that means no ceiling fans during the summer, no internet, no refrigerator, no Netflix. This, of course, changed in Colonia Volcanes as Mayor Michel inaugurated a grid that now brings electricity to close to 80 families along Maipo Street after over a decade of requesting the service. Mayor Michel also announced that other neighborhoods in the municipality of Puerto Vallarta are slated for electrical connectivity moving forward. Moving right along, we usually do not do robberies. We don't do robberies and crime stories here at Coffee and Headlines because robberies and crime stories happen everywhere. But this one may have come to you through other sources because it took place in Marina Vallarta and it involved a wild chase into Bahia de Banderas. So, since you may have heard about it elsewhere, we might as well touch base on it. Apparently, two subjects attempted to persuade a bank client to make a substantial withdrawal at a Marina Vallarta branch, but the attempt was botched. A persecution ensued heading north along Highway 200, and the vehicle with the criminals was eventually joined by two other vehicles with gunmen that attempted to stop the police, who was traveling both on vehicles and motorcycles. The criminals eventually ran away, but not before wounding two elements of the police force that were transported to an Seguro Social clinic. Needless to say, this is an open case that will continue to generate headlines in the coming days, and we'll keep an eye on it for your information. Again, not the kind of story that we usually feature here, but you may have heard about it, and I just wanted to make sure that we connect some dots, even though this is not the kind of thing that we usually like to share here, but it happens. What can I say? We're a middle-sized city, no different than cities elsewhere in the world. And no different than cities elsewhere in the world, we have weather to look at, so let us switch over to the weather just to see what's going on there. Is it wrong that I'm rooting for Vecna? Asks our snarky weatherman today. Vecna, of course, is a bad guy from the Dungeons and Dragons universe, as I understand it. 28 degrees right now, feels like 33. Humidity is at 85%, and our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees is 83. Today, Friday, and thank God it's Friday, we can expect a humid and mostly cloudy day with a high of 31 and a low of 24. Tomorrow, Saturday, a humid and mostly cloudy day as well with a high of 31 and a low of 25. And Sunday, a humid and mostly cloudy day with a high of 31 and a low of 24. I have more headlines to share with you, which I will do in a second as soon as I can get all these buttons pushed and all this stuff up to date. Hold on just a second. These delays are really driving me crazy, but what can I tell you? Let's see. More news. There we go. Now, it is a mystery to me why Tribuna de la Bahía would choose to report on this now and not earlier. It is about the stretch of Francisco Villa Avenue directly across from La Comer, where there is no sidewalk, forcing pedestrians to walk through the parking lot at Carl's Jr. and allegedly placing pedestrians in danger for traffic if they choose to walk on the street. Well, one could also choose not to walk on the street. And of course, all of this is true, but that situation has been in place ever since I can remember. So why would the paper want to feature this today is a mystery. There's a similar situation further south on Francisco Villa Street where there's a motorcycle dealer that routinely places their motorcycles on the sidewalk, effectively taking over it, but nobody has said anything about them, at least not yet. Now, this is very sad and very interesting to me. By official decree, and in order to avoid school dropouts, no elementary or high school student in the state of Jalisco will fail their school year, this year or the next. No matter how unqualified the students are, no matter how bad their grades were, how unprepared they are to move on to the next grade, no students will fail their school grade. This was announced by Jalisco's Undersecretary for Basic Education, Pedro Arias, who has received considerable criticism and backlash from observers arguing that this worsens education in Mexico. Undersecretary Arias has asked for compassion and sensibility given the fact that students come or are coming out of two very complicated years of sanitary crisis that did not allow for them to receive the education they were supposed to receive. Still, there's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it, but I am troubled by this decision, and some of you may be as well. Now, before we get into our COVID home test adventure, I have three unrelated headlines to share. The first one being this article from Huffington Post on compassion fatigue. The article argues that the onslaught of bad news, from abortion rights to mass shootings to COVID, can lead to a unique type of burnout. Are you experiencing compassion fatigue? The article will allow you to identify signs that may indicate that you may be experiencing it. This is, of course, in English, along with this one from Vox, inviting us to be a little spontaneous and arguing that a looser schedule can allow for serendipity. If you think you may be overscheduling yourself, you may want to read this one. Last but not least, also from Vox, I found this interesting list of 21 films considered among the best released this year so far, and how and where to watch them, from great blockbusters to a mockumentary about a talking shoe-wearing seashell, and I am looking forward to seeing that. Now, before we dive into the COVID tests, let me see how we're doing with delays. This is very unfortunate. I am going to start the video that I recorded yesterday, and even the video itself has delay built in, so I have no idea what's gonna happen when I play this. But as I mentioned yesterday, right after the broadcast, I head out to supermarket and to Farmacia Guadalajara. I got myself a home COVID test and videotaped the unboxing, and the video takes about 8 minutes. So I'm going to play that, and then we can take a quick look at your reactions and your comments. Let us keep our fingers crossed that the equipment does not implode. Are we recording? Yes, we are recording. Okay, so here we are. It is still June 30th. It is still Thursday. And as I mentioned, I went to Farmacia Guadalajara and got myself a COVID test. This is called Fast Step Antígeno COVID-19. This is a saliva swab test. I was given two options when I went to Farmacia Guadalajara. They have the kind of test where you stick something up your nose, and I made a face, and then the lady said, well, most everybody buys this other one in which you just have to take a swab at your saliva. Both tests are inexpensive. Well, this was 212 pesos, and I haven't even opened it, so I'm going to examine this as slowly as I can. I will even take my glasses off so that I can read the tiny, tiny print and translate for you.
Oh,
this
Spencer.
says it is the rapid test for detection of the virus that causes coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2, and its variants and new strains. Precautions of it says keep away from children, keep at room temperature and away from direct sunlight. This is just for diagnosis. Read the instructions. Do not use the test and its components after the expiration date. The expiration date for this is 2024, January 11. So we are good to go. Wash your hands, so forth and so on. So I'm going to open this and see what's inside. And we're going to do this in real time. Oh, come on. I assume there are more instructions inside, so I'm not going to bother reading everything that is outside. Okay, inside I find this chingadera, which I'm going to put aside, and I find, oh, a little souvenir, which means I have gotten tested. and there's a leaflet inside with instructions, and that's what I am concerned about, because I want to make sure that I follow the instructions. For starters, the instructions are all in Spanish, so this might turn some people off, but I will make it a point to find out if they have instructions on their website in English so that you can use this if that is the case. Let's see. There's a lot of words here. I'm concerned. I had a cocktail with Gina at Whiskey Kitchen, so I want to make sure that it doesn't read anywhere where it says that you should not take this when you have had a cocktail at Whiskey Kitchen. I don't think so. So it says allow the test to reach room temperature between 15 and 30 degrees. So I assume this is good. Number
Check.
2, take the item outside of its packing. Remove it from the tube. Remove the protector. Put the collector of saliva in your mouth, close to the sublingual glands. So to me, that's under the tongue. And keep the upper part of the gadget pointing up, and keep it there for 2 minutes, and then put it back in the. Okay, I'm just going to do this and take it from there. So I'm going to be because I'll be able to read this while I'm doing it. So let's see. I am opening this, and I notice that I have gone out of sync. My apologies. I am in constant contact with the developer to see what's going on. So here's the gadget. And so essentially I have to take this out, put it in my mouth, and then
Blow.
keep it there for 2 minutes, and then put it back in the gadget, and the gadget needs to be held vertically. And then I can read the results in 15 minutes. So I'm going to do this. I have removed the gadget, and I think I have to, oh, there you go. I have removed the gadget. Here it is. And now I have to remove this part. Whoops. Which goes into your mouth. And this goes in my mouth for 2 minutes. So here we go. It is 3 o'clock. So here we go. Fast forward. Do, 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 do. Okay, so it's been 2 minutes, and now it says that this has to go back in here, and the ring, oops, it is supposed to click like that. Stuck it in there, and something happened, and I hope I did it properly, because it says that something needs to align with something. I just hope this thing is aligning. It also says that it is going to take 15 minutes to provide with a result. So I'm going to pause this, and I'm going to come back in 15 minutes just to see what it says. Okay, well, 15 minutes have gone by, and I am happy to report that I am not contagious. for COVID-19. This gives me a big sigh of relief. As I have mentioned in a past couple of days, I have some plans for the weekend, and I just will feel better about myself knowing that I tested negative. And that is the end of this unboxing and quick test. I will take a look at their website to see if they have instructions in English. But again, instructions did not come in English with the test. Something else that I noticed is that when you put this item back in the container, you need to push so that some liquid gets in contact with your saliva thing. Um, so when you push, you need to push with certain amount of strength so that you can hear something pop. And that's basically it. Thank you for watching. Okay, so that was my adventure with the home COVID test. I did go into the website of the manufacturer, which is really an importer because these are tests made elsewhere. And I tried to talk to their customer service online, and they wanted my email address. And I'm like, fuck this. All I want to know is if they provide instructions in English or not. I could not find instructions in English on their website. So if you go to Farmacia Guadalajara and buy one of these or buy one of the kind that goes up your nose, just be mindful of the fact that you may want to have a Spanish-speaking friend holding your hand in case you have questions about how to do the test. And I did not mean to make it sound so complicated, but I was worrying about delays, reading tiny letters in Spanish and translating simultaneously. So I may have come across as slightly incompetent, or maybe I was slightly incompetent. I don't know. But the bottom line is I feel a huge sense of relief because I don't seem to be contagious anymore. And with that said, let me take a quick look at your comments for today. I love your good mornings, and you already know that, but I never get tired of being grateful for them. Thank you very much. Boom, 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 bim, bum. I am not even going to touch the happy Canada people and the happy 4th of July people because yesterday somebody got ugly at somebody else and I got ugly too. And bottom line is we're going to try to let everybody here express their opinions as always. And if somebody disagrees with somebody else's opinion, we're going to be kind about it or we're going to be booted. End of discussion. Let's see what else we have. Ramona says, love the crochet collar. Thank you very much. I am getting quite a kick out of making these. And, they help me relax and they're a lot less expensive than hard drugs, let me tell you. So I have fun doing it. Let's see what else. Yay for being negative. Linda, thank you very much for that. But more importantly for me, the takeaway is it is so simple to be proactive now. If you have an outing coming up when you're going to see a number of people, like I'm going to go to the theater tomorrow. And even though there might be somebody at that theater audience that could give me COVID because they chose not to be proactive, I feel a certain sense of relief just knowing that I took a test prior to a group gathering and that the test came out negative. Is this going to become a routine thing that we have to do? And is it a nuisance? Well, maybe and yes, but at least it's good to know that we have the ability to plan ahead accordingly. Let's see what else. Harold argues that Customs is inspecting the transmission, slowing it down. Well, I hope that's not the case, but I think that's actually really funny. There's a new person, Terry Saski. That's an interesting last name. Terry, welcome. Welcome to Coffee and Headlines. We're usually not time delayed like we are today, but we're looking into it. Zero corruption at City Hall. I would believe there's beachfront property for sale in Monterrey first. I love it. Your reactions were priceless. I work during the campaign when I get in trouble with my esposa or my wife and see how far that gets me. Not, says Alan Shepard. I tell you, I love it. Da 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 da. Let's see. A talking shoe wearing a seashell. I must still be asleep. Well, let me tell you, Maggie, it is a really funny trailer. I watched it and it's stopped animation, which is actually beautiful. Now, Spencer made me almost lose it when he said, "Did you hear about bank robber who got arrested for attempting to rob a bank?" His explanation was, "I am working for the campaign." I tell you, I love it. Dave comments that the antigen nasal home test is much easier and there is no need to touch your eyeball with the swab. I did not have to touch my eyeball with the swab, but thank you very much for your comment. Mark says we did the nose test, which seemed easier than that one. Fair enough. Let's see what else. Alan Shepard says Chihuahua. Actually, it's Chihuahua, but we know that. I will have to say, after watching you take the test, that it is great to do in the comfort of your home versus the other way. The other way felt like they were poking the few brain cells I have left. Well, again, I am sure that there's research about both tests and accuracy and so forth and so on. But as I say, it's good to have options. Colleen says, "Nice job, Paco. My husband Duke and I are finally watching live for the first time. We really enjoy your program, glitches and all." Thank you very much, Colleen. I think glitches help to keep it real. We never attempted to be a professional broadcast because we're not. I am just a regular dude like you and I reacting to my surroundings. Da, 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 da. Ugly. I will need to watch yesterday's broadcast. Actually, Gary, it's all in the comments. There was a comment, and I reacted to it. And you know how it goes here. We try to keep things civilized and friendly and uplifting and positive and non-critical, as in being critical of others. Period. Joe asks, "How's your shoulder?" Shoulder is much better. In fact, it's really doing good. Thank you very much for that. Timothy says, "We test every week just so we know our status and can make good choices." Thank you very much for sharing. Susie says, "In San Diego, only the up your nose seems to be available." I love it. Up your nose. I love it. And Gina from Whiskey Kitchen says, "Hello, it's good to read you, my friend. I had fun catching up with Gina, who, of course, like several other restaurants in town, is planning a 4th of July shindig. So if you are keen on celebrating 4th of July at a local restaurant, Gina is going to have some special offerings, and I am sure she's not the only one. There will be others out there as well." And this, of course, brings us to the end of today's broadcast. As always, I am grateful for your company, and I'm grateful for your patience, and I'm grateful for your support, particularly now that we are approaching my birthday. That was not a hint, although it sounded like a hint. It didn't mean to sound like a hint. But again, everything we do here is for you, and you make it happen. Thanks to your support, thanks to your membership, and thanks to your coffees. And we are very, very grateful for that. So have a great weekend. Stay kind, stay not very sweaty. And if you get sweaty, try to find a friend with a swimming pool. And I will see you sometime in the near future. Well, I'll be here tomorrow, of course. Have a good day.